and so I love.
Prince was just not. I mean, he was in Oakland.
Yeah.
He just not. He wasn't much of a conversationalist.
Wasn't a
So.
conversation.
Well, but you know what? But as I understood, he was. But you had to get close to him.
You had to get very close to
Yeah,
him.
you got to get
Okay,
close to him.
we're going live.
We're going live.
Yeah.
And our promos first.
Charlie,
Here it is.
host of Speaking the Facts with Charlie and
Yeah,
JR,
so,
broadcasting live
that's
each week on Wednesday at 7 p.m. from Fishbowl Studios.
Log on to hear us speaking the facts on current events, family, and finances.
So be sure to log on each week on Wednesday at 7 p.m. to catch Speaking the Facts with Charlie and JR.
Tune in.
Hey.
We are back once again. This is what is this? This is Speaking the Facts with Charlie and JR. I just went brain dead.
Gone for
It's
a
like,
week. Yeah.
This is Speaking the Facts with Charlie and JR. And of course, I am JR and my lovely co-host to the right, Charlie. How you doing, Charlie?
Hey, Dad. How you doing?
I'm above ground, so it's a good day. No complaints. No complaints at all. I forgot a little bit of the housekeeping last week, and I thought about it, and I said, so I had to, kind of slap myself on the wrist because I had to let everybody know that Speaking the Facts with Charlie and JR is brought to you by Kiss Wealth Now.
That's true.
And Kiss Wealth Now is the one-stop shop for all of your residential and commercial real estate needs.
That's right.
My lovely daughter and realtor over here will tell you how to reach Kiss Wealth Now.
That's right. You can go to my website, which is Kiss Wealth Now altogether, or you can call me 214-738-4913.
There you go. Tell them the number one more time.
I know. I better repeat it more. 214-738-4913.
That's right. So you have to repeat that number.
I know. Make sure they know it.
Right.
That's right. Exactly. I do. I learned how to rap it.
So I also want to take time to acknowledge our alter egos, the fly guy and the fly girls.
Mhm.
I am the fly guy. Don't call it a comeback because I've been fly.
That's right. That's right.
And we got
get your
fly
doctor
money.
that says born fly.
That's right. That's right. we got fly money over there on the right, and we got our producer Kim out there, aka This Shit's Fly. What's up, Kim? See, she's loud this week. We got Taylor over there on the knobs and faders. What's up, Taylor? How you doing? We are excellent. We are excellent, and we have our esteemed special guest, and this is going.
Special.
So go ahead and introduce our guest, Charlie.
Gosh, so Jason, you got a lot of things you do. Like you're a writer, you're a businessman.
I'm a parent.
Okay, yeah.
First and foremost.
Yeah. A husband.
I'm a husband. I'm a parent. I'm a husband. I'm a parent. Maybe I'm not going to rank in what order, but I'm a husband. I'm a parent. I'm a brother. I'm an uncle.
Okay.
I'm a son.
Right.
I'm a grandparent.
That's yes. That's a good feeling.
That's one of my best titles. I'm a serial entrepreneur.
That's right.
I will. As a matter of fact, I'm wearing one of my latest creations while y'all playing.
Okay, rep.
Yeah,
Yep.
And so, but I'm a serial entrepreneur, and so, a former athlete and engineer by education, but not by trade because I never worked in my.
Right.
Playing.
Yeah, you're not alone.
Playing what? What was your?
I ran track. Well,
track?
My primary sport was football, but track was where I made some more money.
Oh, okay,
So-
okay.
What?
Short, long
Oh
distance.
no, I'm a sprinter.
Sprinter?
200. Well, I ain't sprinting nothing right now. Eating a plate of food.
I know.
But I ran the 200.
Child's open. He's the first one
What
there.
the commercials say for sprinters and former sprinters.
Exactly.
So you have this plethora of things that you do. By the way, so you do clothes?
Yes, sir. So when I was actually, when I first started running, I first started making some money.
Mhm.
And I was I lived in Columbus because I was a student at Ohio State. And so we had the opportunity to enjoy what was billed as a debate between John Henrik Clark and Cornel West. They came to campus.
Oh, okay.
And for people who might not know this, John Henrik Clark, when he was alive, was the world's foremost historian on Black history, on plain and simple. If it was a Black history fact, Dr. Clark knew it, right? So he came, and at the time, a gentleman that my sister was dating. You can see him on Roland Martin, Greg Carr.
Mm-hmm.
Kim Matthew was Dr. Clark's understudy. And so he was also, he had been a former student at Ohio State. So he all came back. And so he asked me if I wanted to meet Dr. Clark. And I said, yeah. So Dr. Clark started asking me about some of the things I was doing. He says, well, Greg told me you were, doing well, doing better now. What are you doing with your money? And so I said that I potentially may want to open a restaurant. He said, well, why would you going to do that? And I said, well, because, that's would be,
everybody likes to
turn
eat.
my money
right,
over.
right.
And so he's like, no, he's like, I can tell you that something is simple. And this is what he said to me directly. He says, something as simple as underwear that we all need, we don't make or distribute or sell. And we all gonna have to have it.
That's true.
And I was like, okay. And so I took that literally. Okay. I took that literally home. I ran home. There was a Walgreens in between where my house was and where I was on campus. And so I stopped by there. The place was getting ready to close, and I banged on the door, asked a woman, let me get in. She said, well, I just need a seam ripper. I need something. So I called my girlfriend at the time and I said, bring me some of your panties. She was like, what? And so I had this idea. So I was like, and so at the time, so this was right before, this was like 94. And so one of my friends, one of my football teammates was the #1 draft pick, Dan Wilkinson. He was the #1 draft pick and everybody. And so I was in the locker room with people like Corey Stringer, Dan Wilkinson, all these guys, these big guys, right? And I was like, how do these Negroes look like they got on panties? Right. And so because but at the time there was nothing else made.
Right.
Okay. So it was like they had all these big 350-pound dudes, but they looked like they drawers were strangling them because there was nothing, that was the biggest they could find.
They had on the tighty whitey stuff, basically.
Well, yeah, they were tight tee. They were real not tidy. They were tight tee.
Right.
And so so I came up with an idea to make what I consider to be Black people's underwear. You know what I'm saying? With a little bit more for the front and the back, a little bit more fabric in the front and the back. So they don't like you so tight. And that transitioned into a few more other opportunities, because when I got into underwear, then, bathrobes and so on, so forth and so on. So my company, I just said, okay, I'm going to do this. And I built a company. So back up a little bit of context. So Greg Carr has a brother named Jeff. Okay, he came and gave this speech, and he started talking, and he was pouring libations and stuff, and he used some African words and stuff, and I was, listening to what things he had to say. And there's one word that he used that I didn't know what it was. He said something nafasi. Right? Nafasi. And I was like, okay, I caught everything else. What does that mean? And so nafasi means it's like an opening of blessings and good time and fortune that's in a house. Okay. And that's why I built my company called Nafasi Fashions International, because I wanted my home and my physical and financial and spiritual home to have blessings and be fortunate for those who came into it. And so did that. And
I learned a new word. So I learned a new word.
Nafasi. And so just a lot of different things and people were coming into my life for really good reasons. Like suddenly, I mean, we're talking about, as soon as I started talking about doing Nafasi, I met George Frazier. At the time, I had a girlfriend who her mother lived in Indianapolis. Matter of fact, I'm not even sure if Miss Fair, if you're still alive, Paulette Fair, still love you. Right. But Miss Fair, her husband had passed away. His name is Turner Fair. And he made these big charts called AfriChart. You can still look these up. World history from an African perspective and American history from an African perspective. And there's these big AfriChart. Yeah, it'll give you really education, bunch of education all in one eye shot. And so one day she called me. I was in Columbus, and she said, well, hey, baby, what you doing? I said, nothing. And so she said, can you get to Indianapolis? And I said, well, I probably. She said, do you have a suit? I said, yeah, I do. I have a new suit, but it's not tailored yet. It's still, the pants were still long, and for people who, I don't know, a lot of people buy off the racks. So at that time, that's the first time I had an opportunity to buy myself a real suit. Okay.
Right. If it's tailored to you,
Right, then
it
it's
is
right,
real.
Yeah.
Right.
To buy myself a real suit. So I said, yes, I have a suit. And so she said, bring it with you. We'll find somebody to finish it for you.
Mhm.
And so we drove around all day trying to find somebody. We found this one Oriental lady who did it. And then she took me downtown to the RCA Dome. And she says, go in there.
Mhm.
And I said, why? What's in there? She said, don't worry about it. Go in there. You'll trust me. You'll do okay. I know you'll be okay. Just go in there and walk around. Right.
Mhm.
So what she did, she bought me a ticket to the Black Expo. And I don't know if you all know this,
Yeah.
but the Black Expo started, the original Black Expo in Indianapolis.
Yes,
Indianapolis,
correct.
yeah.
And
Right.
I've been to it. Yes, awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I
she,
even sorry to cut you
Go
off, but I remember when they had the petition there to free Mike.
Right.
You know, that was at the Black Expo. I was like,
Right.
oh, okay.
Right.
Free Mike Tyson.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so she sent me down there, and I walked in there, and I met a bunch of people. I met Bruce Ackerman. I met a bunch of other people who were very influential through my
Mhm.
career and helped me do some stuff. And so early on, and also, another interesting person that after Dr. Fair passed away, I
Mhm.
met some of his friends. And so one day I was at Miss Fair's house, and I went to their house, and so she said, "Oh, baby," she was calling me Mr. Wonderful. "Oh, Mr. Wonderful, come on in." Da, 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 da. And I walked in the living room,
Mhm.
and sitting in the living room,
Mhm.
okay, was Malefi Asante,
Mhm.
M. Scott Peck, and Milana Karinga.
Wow.
Right.
And
That's pretty neat.
they were in there talking, having donuts and stuff.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, these
Right.
are intellectual heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo.
What am I walking into?
Right. And so they sat down, and so they start talking. So they really start feeling me. They really charged me up with a bunch of different things, like kind of let me know, that the world
place.
was
Yeah.
the world was there for me,
Yeah.
if you just decide to go out and get it.
It's
And
true.
so I was like, okay, cool. And so basically started this company in Nafasi. The bathrobe that Mike Tyson wore to the ring in the Bruce Seldon fight, I made that.
Cool. I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
that's
But here's
excellent.
the crazy. So what was his name? Snap. The guy who was the Muslim brother who was the imam that helped Mike Tyson join Islam was one of Miss Fair's
Oh,
friends.
you gotta.
Oh yeah,
you didn't see the-
yeah.
you didn't see the-
Kim just took a picture.
Kim took a
with-
picture
with Mike Tyson.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the other day.
And so so that was pretty cool. I forget his name, dog on it.
But you know what though? But that's, I mean, just for you to be able to walk into these places and people see your light
Yeah.
and recognize it and give you the opportunity,
They
and
could have shut me down.
right, exactly. So I talked about this the other day, and I don't have the point of reference, but in the Bible, but realizing that everybody has value,
Right.
know, and
Everybody has a
so
purpose.
and everybody has a purpose. So be careful who you're looking over.
Yeah.
Because we always think that we want to get to the person who has the money, but that's not it. When you talk to everybody, see the value in everybody, because everybody has something to give. Is recognizing their value
and
You
having an opportunity that is for you.
correct.
And obviously you were presented with several opportunities that were for you.
Oh, yeah.
Where you could receive the blessing, and you could use it and pass it on to your kids, to your grandkids.
Right.
Yeah.
Because entrepreneurship is not easy.
Not.
And I tell people, I work harder for myself than I have anybody, and so when you think it's easy, recognize that it is not, and then when you have other people who are dependent upon you to take care of their families, you find yourself working even harder because you don't want to let everybody
Right.
down, so.
Yeah. So how do you, if someone is Nafasi, are you still selling Nafasi?
I just started. I just started up, so we'll be available on Amazon probably in about a month.
Oh.
And then some other channels. I got some other interviews with some big box guys to go in there. And
So the niche is big booty underwear. I'm just teasing. No.
No.
Because I mean, there's probably a niche for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but actually,
they won't be done for me, flat back section,
Hey,
but
so what it is,
I'm silly,
I
y'all.
wish I had bought the pairs. Okay, so do you see the kente cloth that my wife has on her head?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay, so a lot of we have the patterns in the African patterns.
Okay.
The men's underwear have the African patterns,
I love
and they
that.
do have for the brothers a little bit more room in the back and a little bit more room in the crotch pocket.
Right.
To
You know what I'm saying?
accommodate.
To accommodate.
Yes.
So you're not feeling all pinched up and hiked.
Right.
And so
And anybody can wear these underwears. You do not just have to be African American.
right. Oh no.
If you have a big
Money is
back
green.
or a big
Yeah.
front, you can buy it. No.
Or if you just want a little extra, a scotia of extra room,
Right.
Yeah.
And so for me, I can say this is I really would appreciate
Mm-hmm.
for the younger brothers and some of the older brothers to not allow us to see your underwear
Oh gosh.
while you're
That's a
walking down the
movement.
street.
That should be a
I
movement.
would, but if you must, brothers, here, wear some underwear that at least we can have some pride in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm
Kente
gonna,
cloth underwear.
yeah,
I love it.
and so I do a lot of the stuff with the bandana patterns as well.
Love
And-
the paisleys.
Right, the bandana paisleys. And it celebrates our cultures. We're doing some stuff with some licensing for some HBCUs, some
Cool.
sports teams. We're trying to be creative, bring something new. I got another product. I'm not going to show anybody online just yet. But it's something new. Just got the patent information back for it. But it's going to revolutionize headwear.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Well, love it. And we all think our crowns are so important.
I love
very
it.
much so.
Yeah.
It's our
yeah.
energy.
That's right. That's right. And we are wearing our crowns up here. That's right.
Right.
We decided off camera that we were gonna being that it is the election season, that we were going to do something different and discuss some politics, to encourage our people to be informed, to educate themselves. But I just kind of want to, in this environment that we're in, I kind of want to talk about too what it is to be a leader, because who you vote for is one of the most important things that you'll do in your life, along with who you marry, along with
two most important decisions you're gonna ever make is who you share your bed with and who you call God.
Right, exactly. So and in the environment that we're in, people who are rude and obnoxious, if I called somebody a name when I was in grade school, I would have got sent home.
Yeah.
And immediately physically addressed on the backside.
You would have had to go get your own switch. Maybe,
I had to go get my own switch. Seriously, go out there and get me that switch.
Right.
In fact, you had to get 2 or 3 of them so they could braid them together. So
right.
But
the days.
So where do you what is your take on the divisiveness and the kind of leadership that's being presented to us to vote for?
I can say this. I'm clearly and unequivocally Harris supporter. But I'm gonna say this. If you don't mind, I'm gonna divert this just a little bit because I want to really bring this conversation. This is my view. Understand this. The president can only do so much. Black people, whoever, but I'm more specific because I'm Black. I'm letting y'all understand that.
You are?
I know, right?
Surprise! Our focus must be our lower level elections. Who we elect as judges. Do you realize some of these judges we have sitting on the benches have won their elections with less than 1,000 votes?
Wow.
Yes.
We have 4 judges in the Dallas County District Court who the last election cycle won their election with less than 1,000 votes. So when the case is not getting decided your way, or when your child is getting sentenced to a long bid or whatever the case for some low-level crime or whatever the case, your vote really does matter. And that's not a matter of the presidential election. That's a matter of your local elections.
Well, yes. And in fact, we had the mayor of Forest Hill on last week. So,
Yes.
So local elections are very important because it is local empowerment that really feeds regional and national leadership.
Exactly.
You know, so I'm glad you steered it that way because far too often we do look at
we look at the top,
but the top is supported by the bottom.
By the bottom, and that's again going back to the value that it's not the value's not here. It's right here. The people who are marginalized, so to speak, the ones that people feel like don't have the value, you have much more power than what you think.
Yeah, well, absolutely, because the base supports the summit. The summit doesn't support the base.
Right.
And so people have to know that. We have to know that if you are worried that Donald Trump or whoever is the president is not going to do anything about crime in your neighborhood. If you have crime in your neighborhood, if you have things that are under less than desirable than what you want in your neighborhood, then the person who is going to make sure that there are street lights in your neighborhood is going to be your local city council person.
Okay. Exactly. And
when they're trying to move out homes because they're trying to bring in more businesses and they're moving out people who actually can afford those homes, that's something that's happening. That's happening locally.
Zoning is a matter of your local city council.
Yeah.
Depending on where you are and how the structure of your municipality works, most of the time, a lot of the business things like bigger businesses coming in, that's going to be your county administrators because they control that. However, if somebody brings in a highway through your neighborhood, then that's going to be a matter of your state representative. So people need to understand exactly who's making the decision and don't put everything on people at the presidential level because that's not who's responsible for that.
Exactly. And not only that, I would just I want to again just encourage people to definitely vote on a local level. But when you're vote, just don't be misled by the hype. A crime. I'm glad you mentioned the word crime. Crime is not a Republican issue. Crime is not a Democratic issue. It's not an independent issue. It's not even an American issue. Crime is a matter of lack of knowledge of self and lack of purpose. If we knew who we are as kings and queens, as people, we would be a lot less likely to do a lot of the things that we do. And I'm glad you mentioned history earlier because when I said if we knew who we are, we, on a local level, we need to be educating ourselves and not depending upon people that have little or no knowledge of us and little or no incentive to empower us.
Well, I mean,
to teach us,
But here's the thing. So you got people like Ted Cruz and what is the guy from Florida, the governor in Florida? What is his name?
DeSantis.
DeSantis, yeah.
Now, interestingly enough, these people who are trying to ban your books and do all that kind of stuff, they actually do know who we are. They want to make sure that we don't know who we are. They know who we are.
Well, exactly. As a matter of fact, if people don't carry cash very much anymore, but if you look at the U.S. dollar bill, it has the all-seeing eye of Heru on the back over a pyramid. So that was an acknowledgement of where their blessings came from. That was an acknowledgement of where their knowledge base came from.
Exactly.
They don't tell it. They would never tell us that.
And that goes back to the answers for a lot of things that we search for. The people who are inquisitive, they are in the books. It's not going to come across the TV for you. Like we got this platform here, but we implore anybody to go ahead and research what we're talking about.
Right.
Because therefore you can get the information yourself and you can extract from it, which is going to create growth for you.
Definitely.
A lot of people are, we can have this platform where we're talking about things that are good for us, but everyone's need is different,
Yeah.
So going back to, again, local, you need to do what's best for you locally and get the right people in there so you can have a voice.
Right. And I'm going to say this is another hot topic that's in American politics right now. The whole situation with Palestine and Israel. So I'm going to tell y'all this. Listen to this. Do your homework.
Yes.
And this is not hard to find. Find yourself a world almanac that predates 1936.
Very true.
Okay. If you look at it, if it predates 1936, you will not find Israel. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Israel, that's the reason why they're saying we need to find a solution for a two-state solution. Okay. Because what happened is a white man from Britain named Balfour granted some land that did not belong to him to some people who considered themselves Jews. That's another conversation. We won't make that conversation right now. To some people that considered themselves Jews. And so he granted them some land. And so the people in Palestine were divested of their land. And so they have been fighting. And what they decided to do as a whole system of people is wait and delay their fight until they felt like they were strong enough to get ready to take their land back. So where people call these people terrorists, they are not terrorists, okay? Anytime you have a small group of oppressed people that decide to get retribution from a bigger group of people, they don't call that revolutionary, they call that a massacre, okay? So when the slaves fight the master back, then it's a massacre, okay? When the masters beat up the slaves, it's colonialism. Make sure you're very correct with your words. So the people in Palestine, I'm saying this, I do not suggest, or nor do I condone that anybody is trying to kill indiscriminately any other group for any reason. So we're gonna say that. Right. However, I am eye for an eye, and if you lick me, I want my lick back. Okay, which is what they're saying. They're saying we want our land back, and we'll destroy you to get it. So people need to make sure we understand all of the facts. You need to understand what you see on TV sometimes is not actually real. Okay. What sometimes you read in your books is not actually real. It might not be actual or factual or contextually true. So you make sure you're doing your own research for yourself.
Yeah, there's a biblical historical component to that area as well. Right. And which someone was, or a group of people was again disenfranchised, from the lineage of Isaac and Jacob, and what I'm saying, this conflict has been going on for quite some time,
very long time,
and then, like you said, Israel as a state just came into it in 1936. Egypt actually had that land for a while. There's a lot.
I mean, if you really look at it, there's a big discussion about how Egypt is considered to be not a part of Africa, but it is. Egypt is North Africa.
Yes.
And so people really have to look at it, and then you have to do research stuff like the Mercator versus the Peters projections of the map. Okay. There's so much. I mean, of course, we don't have a whole lot of time to go into here.
We only get 50 minutes.
But there's so much stuff. But I do want to tell everybody.
Look at outfit change. We'll be back. No,
do it. I want to say this. If nobody else understands this and says this to you, people out there, make sure you're being very decisive and you're being very accountable, and that you hold people accountable for the exchange of your vote. What do you get for your vote?
Very true.
That's the question, the almighty question. What am I getting in exchange for my vote? Because all of the politicians are going to tell you, vote for me. Okay,
right. Exactly.
What are you going to get in exchange for that vote?
And they're going to tell you to vote for them because they're going to say that they're a good leader because they have solutions. We've all been taught that if you are a great leader, you have a solution for the problem.
Right.
But again, all problems are not created equal, and we're not addressing all of them.
Well, also, here's the thing. You have to look at it. I wrote a campaign. Actually, I know someone who's a local politician who asked my wife and I and some of our constituents to come down and be a part of a commercial. And the script that they had written for this gentleman was garbage. Okay. And so, because I'm extremely public, visually public and popular, I was like, oh, I don't want to be on that because I don't want anybody to see that and infer that I support that, what he said. And because that's what it says. You're in the crowd, we're in the crowd doing rah-rah. And I'm like, he's saying absolutely nothing. So my publicity and the dependency that people in my community have on me to say and do the right things is kind of heavy. And so I was like, oh, hold on, y'all can't say that with me on the camera, because then it looks like I support that, and I don't. And so individually, if I had blended into the crowd, I might not have been so worried. But here I am with my wife and my best friend, and everybody know You know, so I'm like,
Right,
that's me.
right.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, yeah.
That's
like,
him.
Yeah.
You know,
You're like, okay, don't say that, or if you are, I'm out. No.
Right.
Well, yeah. We have to be very careful what we give allegiance to or align ourselves
Exactly.
with. We have to be very careful. There's a lot of Charlie knows I sang for a living for a long time, and there's a lot of gigs that I wouldn't do because of what they represented.
Exactly.
You know, and a few of them were good paydays, and I had to decide because, but same thing. I didn't want to be seen with the rah-rah,
Right.
you know, knowing that I did not support this issue.
Right.
Right.
You know, so and it is important to align ourselves with things that we can be proud of, and that people looking at us and hopefully up to us can be proud of. You know, because everybody's looking at you. But I'm going to go back to that word leader again, because politicians are even local level, regional or national, are supposed to be leaders. So again, I guess going back to that original question, just this climate where, like you said, what are you getting for your vote? Are you getting someone that in any other arena other than politics, no one would get behind you? I had a pastor that said about leadership. He said that if you're a leader and you turn around and nobody's there, you're just taking a walk.
Right.
You know,
That's
so
true.
yeah. So would, if he were not a celebrity, would people follow Donald Trump because he got elected? Because let's face it, he got elected because he's a celebrity.
But no, I wouldn't agree with that. I'm gonna say this. So Lyndon Johnson said this: if you can convince the lowest white man that he's better than the best black man, then he won't have to give him his money. He'll pick his pockets for you. That's paraphrasing it, basically. But what he's saying, so what Donald Trump is doing, he's a fearmonger.
Well, okay? Yeah, exactly.
And so what he attracts people with is the black people are going to hurt you and I'm going to protect you. And so ultimately what happened is all the white people that were pissed off because Barack Obama got voted in as a president, what Donald Trump came and said, he says, guess what? All y'all white people who are pissed off that this nigga got in, get me in there and I give you everything he took from you back. That he didn't take anything. Barack Obama didn't take anything from him, but Trump convinced them that he was going to take back and give it to them everything that they felt like they had lost, okay, which was hypothetically hyperbole incorrect. But the point of the matter for people need to understand what issues are valuable to you. So I'm 54 years old. My wife is 53. We're not having any kids. So abortion ain't a hot button for me. Because it don't need to be. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It don't need to be. I mean, look, if we need an abortion, we got to go get a lawsuit because we get paid. Okay. But so you have to understand, speak to the leaders who speak to you and then call and write. If you have a brother, sister, cousin, whoever else who's in the penitentiary, then you need to talk to the person who's down for father's right. I mean, for penitentiary rights. But then also listen to this. Now, this is very important. You'll see Kamala Harris, you'll see Colin Allred, you'll see all these other different people talk about the fact that they were raised by single mothers. Now, I was raised by a single mother.
As was I.
Me as well.
But here's the thing, though. I'm going to say this. Just because you were raised by a single mother does not mean that your father was absent or that your father was derelict. Okay, because there are a lot of people who were raised by single mothers
as
for
I wasn't.
Reasons.
That's right.
Right.
My father's sitting right over there.
Right. For that don't mean that we're not active or whatever the case, because you can make the claim that somebody was raised by a single mother. And so here's one of the big mistakes that the Democrats and the Republicans and the independents are making right now is everybody's talking about abortion. Okay. One, they're not addressing the fact that anti-abortion does not mean the fact that you are pro-life. Anti-abortion means you're anti-abortion. That doesn't mean you've done anything to support that child.
I'm so glad you said that.
Okay,
I'm just so glad you said that.
Right.
True.
Anti-abortion, and don't conflate anti-abortion with pro-life, because if you're really pro-life, then you're pro-benefits for Medicaid and Medicare and all the other things that will support that child coming along thereafter. If you are a person who wants to talk about anti-abortion or mother's rights or whatever the case, then talk about the father's rights as well, because that child didn't come here without. Now, if there's a matter of incest or something like that, that's some arbitrary. But we're talking about the average conception of the child. There are two people that had to make that child. So what about that father? What about those men who want to be in their parents' lives? I mean, parents' lives, their children's lives.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of stuff that's not being discussed at any of the conventions. I like some of the speeches that were made, but I was very dissatisfied with some of the things that I was more dissatisfied with things that weren't said more than I was.
I think that was the general consensus is that and you know, I'm trying not to Trump bash, but he would not allow the issues to be discussed, especially when she commented about his crowd size and people being bored and leaving. That kind of took him over the edge. You know, but still, just me going back to what I was saying is that had it not been for The Apprentice, Donald Trump would not have had the footprint to draw people.
Y'all
to
should have
him.
heard what my wife and I listened to this morning. Oh my God, they had a young lady who had a complete expose on how Donald Trump got money and all the other wicked things he did to get what he got, and how, like, when they started that show called The Apprentice, that the place was nasty and all that. And so it's
cool question. So have you, I mean, you mentioned, you know, as far as being a writer and being big into politics, and you're passionate and you're educating, you know, and that's big piece of it. So through you educating people and your writing, have you ever thought about stepping into that?
Politics?
Yes. And actually,
no.
Why not?
Because I couldn't sustain in politics, because I'm going to say the things that people probably want to assassinate me for. And so I mean, you know, I'll tell people the truth. I will say things that people don't want to hear.
He's getting a head nod in the back.
Yeah. I mean, I'd have to, but also I'm not politician material, not because I don't love the people. Now, for that aspect, I am.
Right.
Okay. I'm very much so in touch with the people. Okay. But you decide to shoot me, I shoot back. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I am.
You know,
I that's the same reason that I don't feel like I'm political material either. Because my children have all seen me when I felt like my family was threatened in any way. Right. So I would not be one that would in all situations raise the flag of peace. I would not.
I have limited diplomacy. I mean, I can tell y'all that I know what my relationship pathology is, and there are times I have limited diplomacy, and so I would tell somebody, you know, I can live in, you know, 3 or 4 different neighborhoods. I can go from Park Road to Park Bench to Park Avenue. So, but I'll also, people wouldn't like me because, you know, when it comes down to it, I'll say, okay, well, if I'm going to jail, then we all going to jail, because I know where the bodies are buried. Right. You know, so that's what it's going to be.
And look at, not to switch from politics, but that's kind of what's happening on with Diddy and this whole FBI investigation.
Well, yeah.
And you know, everybody's like, okay, who's next?
Oh, the dominoes are going to fall.
Well, in the words of Malcolm, chickens will always come home to roost.
Right.
And I don't know why it just literally it vexes me that Black entrepreneurs, because I can see you're a man of honor and character, and I am proud to sit next to you, but so many of Black entrepreneurs don't understand accountability. They don't understand that life is going to show up whether you like it or not, and the deeper you dig the hole to bury things, you know, it's just more stuff that's just going to be unearthed when the top layer is removed, because it's going to be removed.
Right.
You know, I don't understand how you can go through years of but you know, but again, that's what
he didn't do it all. Here's the thing. He didn't do it all by himself.
No, he did not. Right. And he had lots of help. R. Kelly, who I think is as an artist is one of the best producers
Exactly.
I've seen I've seen in the last 30 years as far as his ability to produce records.
Right.
But
and a lot of people don't know how early R. Kelly started out.
Right.
R. Kelly, I can tell you I didn't know this. I discovered, well, I didn't discover, somebody told me, and I found R. Kelly was like behind High Five.
Yes.
Well, yeah, and not I mean, yeah, they're great, but from my standpoint, for both of them, I feel like, you can be forgiven if you are ignorant to a fact. But when you are going to be condemned is that when you've learned and you know better and you continually do the same thing because you think you're better than everybody else. Like people are raised.
I don't think I wouldn't have given Diddy the credit for ever being contextually or what did Clarence Thomas, what did he say? Categorically deny. I won't let him categorically deny anything because where he started, the floor where he started was so much higher than where most people sometimes might even get, that I won't excuse him or absolve him of knowing, because I know he did.
Right.
Well,
he can't claim being ignorant.
He can't claim it.
Right.
But he will.
well,
how can he?
Yeah.
I mean, so you have to consider this. So the only person who started out on Uptown Records, who was still alive, who when Uptown Records started out right now, is Diddy and Albie Shore. And Albie Shore is on his last leg. Okay, now
I did not know that.
Oh yeah.
So everybody else is dead.
I mean, but Albie Shore being on his last leg is
and so the only person, there's two girls. There were rappers, Finesse and Sequence. Okay, they are the only people that didn't get signed, and so they are like in, I guess, good health or normal well-being or whatever their health situations could be. But everybody else has been mysteriously died. Okay, you look if you look at the autopsy report where Heavy D and all of those guys, those circumstances were suspect at best.
Yeah, he had a blood clot. He was coming back. Heavy D, he was my favorite. He was coming back from London or something, had a blood clot and killed.
But here's the thing. But I can, with the tools that I can get from CVS, I can produce a blood clot in you if you're not looking, or if you're not watchful. I mean, as if you can get diabetic supplies. You can get diabetic supplies and kill a person.
That's true. I watched my Bad Roommate, and this lady, she was ordering stuff off the black market, and she was sticking it in her roommate, and her roommate blood sugar was dropping, and they couldn't figure it out. And I mean, you can get actually, listen, I mean, this is gonna sound crazy. Y'all do not, this is I'm not no murderer or nothing like that. However, you can take orange juice and potassium tablets that you can buy from Walmart. Okay, grind them up, put them in orange juice, inject them in somebody, that gets in their bloodstream. That much potassium in your bloodstream will cause a heart attack. That person out of there. Okay, little stuff like that. And I'm talking about just walking up to somebody. They don't have to put their arm out like they doing heroin to give you an open vein. I'm talking about you can walk up to this person, just jab them in the back.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And shortly, I mean, so there's all kind of stuff you can do. So my thing is that
I saw that on Snap. No, but it's true. And so you think about, again, who you're aligning yourself with and what they were doing, and really, again, feeling like, hey, I'm invincible. And I saw something the other day, kind of going back to Clive Davis and, and just saying how even, Whitney Houston being gone, just kind of all the different,
Do you know the story about Whitney Houston?
Yeah, they were, I mean, well.
No, but do you know who Whitney Houston's mother was?
I mean,
Sister Houston, not her biological mother.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, well,
no, you need to look. You need to research who her biological mother was.
Look at that might be something that I may go read, but I'll probably read How to Make Money Before now.
But I mean, you need to look up who her biological mother was, and when you see the pictures, I forget her name. It's not coming to me right now, but her mother, she looks just like her biological mother, and more important, she sounds just like her biological mother. And so, but her biological mother met an untimely demise, and they got a lot of people who back then you know, you got people who, especially in the age and time of drugs and, you know, street drugs and stuff like that, you know, these people were injecting these people with stuff that they really didn't know what these chemical makeups or what they were putting in their veins were. You know, somebody be done told them it's some heroin, and you don't know what they done stepped on it with. It might have stepped on it with some Ajax. You know,
I'm really glad. I'm not glad for the person, but I'm glad that I was exposed to people shooting up young, and I was about having fun as a kid. I was about having fun. If it didn't look fun, I didn't want to be bothered with it. So when I saw this person, because a person shot up and laid and actually tried to commit suicide and laid on our front porch when I was a kid. But just seeing their reactions, you know, the slobbering on themselves and just the nodding out, I was like, that don't look like fun.
no.
So that right there kind of took me, fortunately took me away from it, because I didn't see nobody, you know, doing heroin and going out and shooting ball, or doing heroin and going out and, you know, and doing anything that I like to do.
Right. Well, we've talked about we talk about family, which is so important. And,
Yes.
and I think if people remember where they come from and it's about family, we wouldn't have a lot of the issues that we have now. We talked about politics. We've talked about being a serial entrepreneur. We've covered a lot in 46 minutes.
46 minutes. Yes, we have. Yes, we have. But so really quickly, what would you suggest for getting people out to vote responsibly, you know, locally? Because like you said, the base supports the summit. Right. So how can we get people out to vote?
Relationships.
Locally?
Voting is relationship based.
It is.
Plain and simple. It's relationship based. It's all about you making contact, making genuine contact, and finding something commonly beneficial to you and that person, and bringing that context to a place where there are more people to share that context, or more people to share that interest, and having a joined and combined effort to make positive change.
So true, because people do business with who they can relate to, okay, who they can have a relationship with, who they can reciprocate to. We can keep going. So then how can someone get in contact with you, because you have this clothing line, big booties, big booty draws.
Yeah, the big booty clothing line.
So somebody needs some draws and some clothes. They need to know how to get in touch with Nafasi.
Nafasi.
I went to Lion King.
So, well,
Nafasi.
right now, and this is one thing I learned. My wife and I are the former owners of the Attaché private club and cigar lounge. I was way too accessible. So right now you cannot access me. That's intentional.
Okay.
You can register to vote. I mean, there are plenty of places you can find to register to vote. My wife and I, we actually are credited voter registration people. But for me to find Nafasi, Nafasi, you can see it. You'll see it on Amazon. The first when we open up to the public, you'll see it on Amazon. It's the first things. But I will make sure that, you know, in our marketing and advertising, that I'm
gonna make sure I get a pair.
Yeah,
and be like,
I'll
be like, I am wearing
and we definitely got to have you come back when you actually launch on Amazon.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Really quickly, my co-host and daughter from another mother over there, their birthday is on the 23rd.
Yes.
So you will be a week older the next time we do a show.
Yes,
and I just wanted to tell everybody that Kim and Charlie, their birthday is on the 23rd.
Yes.
And so hit them up, say happy birthday to them.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
I am really a proud father of both of them. I tell everybody I meet that of all the people that that my daughter has run across from my observational platform,
right,
that Kim is always been there, has always had your back, and that's why I wanted her to be the producer.
Kim is worth her weight in gold.
Because she is
Co-pilot. Don't forget
co-pilot.
Co-pilot.
Forget about
well, you know what?
Co-pilot.
Let's plug co-pilot too. We got to start plugging co-pilot on this show. So how do people reach co-pilot, Kim?
Co-pilot personal assistance services is somewhat dormant, but I will work for the right person.
Okay, she said co-pilot personal assistant services is kind of dormant, but she will work for the right person.
Y'all do not sleep on co-pilot. Co-pilot was
Has
great.
a lot of value.
Co-pilot was great for the attaché. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
rolling smoke. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah. So
Yes.
So we are gonna plug Kim a little more next week. So I am in awe of sitting next to such an educated brother.
How you do it? I mean, I go like this, and
but that ain't, snap.
Is that not,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, but I don't do nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Come on, yeah.
Jealous, I want a little handshake.
Yeah, I mean, I can show you some.
What
You know, I can show you some old bunch. But you don't know that.
I'm lost.
You know, yeah, you don't.
So we
those are from different areas of my life and lifestyle.
So we don't. Kim is told we don't have to go home, but we got to get the out of here.
Wrap it up, B.
You know, so
Yes.
again, this is Speaking the Facts
Thank
with
you
Charlie
so
and
much for
JR
coming.
and Jason. Thank you so much for kicking it with us.
I'll
I'll
come back whenever y'all want me to come.
Yeah, come back. Definitely come back when you launch your line on Amazon, because people need to know about it. I want to know about it.
Yes.
So on behalf of co-pilot, our producer Kim and Taylor over there on the knobs and faders, and my lovely co-host, we will see you next week, and take them out, Charlie.
Yeah,
Tell them what we say.
We always say that you have to love yourself so you can love someone else.
There you go.
We'll be back next week.
We will see y'all. But you know what? Okay. I have been scolded. I have been, and we will be back next week. Same facts time, same facts channel.
See, look at you, got it.
You know, now I have done my duty. So
Yes.
we will see y'all next
7
week.
p.m.
Bye, y'all.